Well, I grew up in Aston, just a stone's throw away from the Aston Villa football ground. I'm proud to be a Brummie.
It's about time somebody did something to mark the very important music that this region produced.
I still think it's important to shout about it, even though maybe we haven't over the last 20, 30 years.
Generally, it's put music on the map in this area, and globally, spread the word.
I think the Whole Metal project is a really good idea. Just from speaking to people in the past, if they come to Birmingham, the first thing that they'll ask me is, this is where Black Sabbath are from, where did they used to drink, where did they used to play? We don't have anything that's a lasting testimony to what these bands have come out of the region have produced.
Our first manager, Jim Simpson, he started a blues club above a pub near the Albany Hotel called Henry's Blues House, and it was every Tuesday night, and you'd go in there and you'd jam, you have a few beers with your mates. I remember Robert Plant and John Bonham coming in there one night and jamming. I thought it was cool, and it was great.
Always been into heavy metal. Best scene ever you could ever be in. Music's fantastic. Live gigs are fantastic and the people are just brilliant as well. What more could you ask for?
The name heavy metal implies heavy industry. You can tell Sabbath reek of factories and sweat and industry and hard work. You get the feeling that they could see making music as getting up, going panel beating for 8 hours, and that does influence the rhythms of the factories, the rhythms of heavy metal, the same way soul is supposed to be the rhythm of Motown in America, the Detroit, Birmingham soul is metal.
Living in Aston and working in a factory, that was my background. I think that sort of helped with the sort of style of music we were playing. We started writing. Certainly in them days, it was bloody tough. If you wasn't in a gang, you had to, and we became musicians,
We formed in 1968 or 69, and we were 4 kids who had an idea and we stuck to it. We were just loud and proud,
Some of the obvious things is living in a fairly sort of aggressive working class neighbourhood made me extremely defensive, But as opposed to being someone who embraced that sort of thug culture, I found myself going the other way. I found myself being really hypersensitive to it. So I felt, for me, that making this sort of music that was ultra aggressive, which is basically Godflesh or something, it was like a sense of revenge for me on the neighbourhoods that I grew up in. It was like the sound of that scum, do you know what I mean? So it's definitely a huge part of what I do. What I was brought up in has shaped me for eternity.
I think it's a really valid thing to do to pull it together, but it's also good as a social history project because music scenes, particularly ones that come from the underground rather than through the mainstream channels, which Heavy Rock did initially, and and bands like Judas Priest came from gigging in pubs and meeting people. It's the people that make those scenes develop, those sounds develop in part, as well as the musicians. So when in this project, when people are coming in and bringing their memories, then it feeds back into a continuous cycle.
I mean, I used to get this question asked all the while was, I bet you're happy about the research of heavy metal. I don't know about research. It's like as established as folk, country, blues, jazz. It's there, and there's no denying it. And we got 40 years on, and it's still, it'll pass. It'll pass when we all croak.